Hi guys, and welcome back to Manchester Fins. I am going to talk you through the tank that I've got in my front room. So this tank is 1400 litres. I'm going to talk you through where I got the fish from, what shops or what private breeding and stuff I got them from. I'm going to talk you through filtration, which is just sump based basically. And some of the fish are my favourites in this tank. So I have not done a video for a couple of weeks because I've been out in the garden. It's very sunny in the UK here at the moment. So I've been enjoying the garden, getting that ready for summer. So I do apologise not been a video for a couple of weeks. I've got a Thailand shipment that is coming in tomorrow. The Indonesia shipment isn't coming in on Wednesday, so I'm hoping that's going to come next week. But for now, I'm just going to talk through the tank that I've got in the front of my room. I've realised that I've not actually filmed this tank yet. Previously, you might have seen my kitchen tank, which is my grow out tank. And this is my 1400 litre main display that I have in my front room. So this is the view from my sofa. The tank is due a water change, and you can see it's got a little bit hazy on the front because it's got biofilm on it. I need to get in there and give that a really good clean. So above it I have corkwood, and that's just pothos growing on it. I was going to grow a few more plants on there, but I just never got round to it really. And the way the lid's very thick, so it's difficult to cut. And I've had multiple fish in here. So I had a giant red-tailed gourami that likes to eat the roots of all the plants. So I didn't want to put any bigger plants in there, just in case he decided he wanted to eat them. But I've had this tank going on 2 years now, 2-3 years. It is 6 foot long by 3 foot front to back, and it's 26 inches high. It's got a 200 litre sump on it. But yeah, it is a main display in my front room. So as you can see, my male black diamond is sectioned off there. That's because he's bred with a female. He's actually knocked this divide, which has been a great divider, to be fair. It's worked really well to keep him away. So black diamond Stingrays, if anyone knows, can be quite aggressive when they breed. Now, he bred with me female, and I didn't have any issues for about a week after. And then one night, he'd obviously tried to mate with her again. And she's actually stabbed him in his face there. That was really deep. It looked like a screwdriver gone through his face, and he was stabbed underneath. Luckily, we didn't hit any organs on this one. His belly spots are really nice. I got this in a previous video from Josh in Hull. Fantastic ray, eats pellets, mussels, prawns, really nice ray. So he is a pure BD black diamond. This is my female black diamond, and you can see where he's chewed her just around the side. That's all healed up now. Did a big water change, done some treatments with him. These are my Florida Gar. I really like Florida Gar. Florida Gar are really good cleanup crew for stingray tanks. Don't bother your other fish. They are predatory, so obviously you can't keep them with small stuff, but just big gentle giants, they don't bother anything really. And they'll eat anything. So if you try new food with your rays and it gets left on the floor, these guys will hoover it up after them. They'll feed from the top, they'll feed from the middle, they'll feed from the floor. So, and they're not like Arowana, you don't have to worry about their eyes. They're getting drop eye, even though they are top dwelling fish. In regards to eating from the floor, you don't have that issue with them. But yeah, this is my black diamond BD. She is my one of my original rays, so she's one of my favourites. She's got I'm pretty sure she's Austrian bloodline. Her belly spots are amazing on this female ray. She's probably 3.5 years old, 3.5 maybe 4 years old. I'll have to double check on that. But yeah, she's an absolute favourite of mine. This is my massive female true parrot cichlid. So, sorry, the Stingray I got from Pier Aquatics as a pup. There's a bit of a story behind it. I bought two, they were sisters, and I had her in the display tank at work, and at the time I had discus in there, and her sister died because one of the discus pecked her sister's eyes really bad and stressed her out, and it actually killed her. So you've got to be careful with ray pups, what you put with them, to make sure that they don't attack him. And this was a discus that did it. So but yeah, this girl's from Pier Aquatics. And then this massive parrotfish is also from Pier Aquatics. I couldn't get any in at the time, so I went and picked her up. She's probably about 2.5 inches. She's probably coming up to 2.5 years old now. I've had her quite a long time. This is my Campbellii Datanoid. I imported this one from Singapore. He's very, very small. The Floridigar are a combination of the 2 bigger ones I got from Wharf Aquatics 2 going on 3 years ago. So these guys are one of my first gar that I ever picked up. And then the 2 smaller ones I got a bulk off David at Planet Arowana. And these were 2 small ones that I had in. These are probably only, I would say, maybe just over a year old. Max, they grow very, very quick, Floridigar. They'll sort of jump to about 14, 16 inch within the first sort of 6 months you have them, if you keep them well fed. They love to be in a group, guys, so if you can get these guys in multiples, I know they're getting harder and harder to get in the UK, but these guys really like to be in groups. They never attack one another, there's no hierarchy, they swim with each other all the time. But yeah, they're really good, they actually do really well. So you can miss a shoal fish, so if you can get 2 or more, they do really well. I've got a platinum redtail catfish, which is sat underneath that log. This guy's actually for sale. So if you're interested in a platinum redtail, he's probably 14 inch. Give me a shout. This guy I got from a UK-based company. I got 2 of them in. I sold one in a shop, and I kept this one for myself. So I'm growing it out. Just first redtail I've ever kept. Absolutely fantastic fish, proper water puppy. Just eat anything that you put in there. This one's really fussy, he'll only eat prawns actually. The other one in the shop ate pellets, mussels, it would eat anything. This big piece of wood I picked up from another shop, I can't remember what it's called. And I've actually cable tied extra pieces of spider wood to it to give more hidey holes and just more design to it basically. So the main structure is these 5 big pieces that come off it, and I've actually added the spider wood on top of it just to give it a bit more of a desirable effect basically. Asian Arowana. This was my first Asian Arowana. She's I'm pretty sure, sorry I said she, I'm pretty sure it's a male. He's from David at Planet Arowana. I got 4 in, still got the other one in the shop. The 2 super high back RTGs, they've gone. But yeah, this was my first Asian. Picked him up probably, I'm saying him, not 100% to be fair. I picked him up, he's probably only about 8 inch when I got him. So I've had him going on 2 years now. And a tip that I do my Arowanas, because I don't want them to get drop eye. So if you know about Arowanas, silvers and Asians are prone to getting what you call drop eye. So their eyes come out from the top of the socket, and they look down basically. And a lot of what I found is you'll get this when you drop food in and you make them feed from the floor. So Arowanas never feed off the floor in the wild. They'll feed from the surface, they'll feed from above, so they'll jump up and they'll grab insects and snakes and lizards and bits and pieces of all sorts in the wild. They also target fish when they're swimming, but mainly they feed from the top and the middle. So if you're making them swim down to the bottom to grab food, it's putting strain on their eye sockets, and it makes them come out and they look down basically. So one way that I get around this is I train my Arowanas to feed after everything else is eaten. And how I do that is I will put a bulk of food in for the rays, and I will then keep a separate cup on the top which has, this guy will only eat insects, so it's not really an issue. But what I'll do is I will drop the food in, the fish will all go. This Arowana will never go down to the bottom for food, never goes down below half the food, and it waits, and then I individually drop in food after. So I've trained all my Arowanas to do this, the 2 that I've had, and I've had a couple of silvers which I've done the same thing with, and it stops them from getting drop eye. That's the best way that I found to stop them from getting drop eye. is train them not to swim down and try and pick bits off the bottom, because that's what strains their eyes. Do the main bulk feed and then have a separate pot, drop a bit in, watch them eat it, and also make them swim around the tank and grab the food from different angles, because they're using their eyes in the proper way that they should do. That's just one tip that I do to stop them from getting drop eye, and it's worked really well with the Arowanas I've got. As you can see, there is 0 drop eye. And the one in the kitchen that I got off Chris at Aquatics Elements has got 0 drop eye. But the scales on these fish are absolutely phenomenal. In this mangled piece of wood, there is a 2.5 foot fire eel, and this guy's actually completely blind. So it's banged both its eyes about 2 years ago, and it's never healed back up. I do lots of water changes, so it's got 2 white caps over its eyes. It's absolutely massive. It sits in that log all day, and then about 11 o'clock at night it swims up and down the front, because that's feeding time for him. So he usually just chills out in there. I got this one from Sickly Prince, so Luke in my work brought this in when he was probably a good 12 inch, and he's absolutely nails prawn. So I've got a Gibby set plec in there that Luke grew on for me and then given me back. But yeah, these are the fish in my main tank. So she has actually been plugged, so my female's actually been plugged by the male. So he managed to plug her a couple of weeks back. So in August I'm actually due some pups from these, and I'm going to try and stick to the pure breeds in regards to breeding stingrays in the future. So hybrids are nice, but they're not really my thing. I've just sold a mini marble, which was in this one, to a lad called Dan. He came and picked her up from me yesterday. So she's gone now, because she's not the type of mini marble I want to breed. She was a very dark brown mini marble, still a beautiful ray, but yeah, she's now gone. But yeah, it's due a little bit of a clean, this tank. But he's absolutely stunning. I'm very impressed with him. It's absolutely stunning, Ray. So nice one, Josh Frey. Give us a shout on him being sold, mate. This is my female. And then this is my filtration. So this is actually held on with, if you can see, the wood is actually angled there, and it's angled here, so it just sits on, and it just sits on there, so there's no handles. So when the lad built the cabinet for me, that was one thing that he wanted to do. I flicked the light on, and I can see the sump is very messy, and it's also very empty. This is fish keeping, guys. You know, it's never going to be tip top all the time if you're working heavy, so don't worry, mine looks like this as well. If anyone else's looks like a bit of a mess. There's an FX4 there that is rammed just full of floss, just to take out the particles in the tank. I do that about 3 times a year. I'll just take the full lot out, and then I'll just put new floss back in it. That's not a chamber for bacteria, it's literally just a polishing filter, so I'm not too bothered about binning everything in there. The main house of the bacteria is an alpha grog, and I've got bits of K1 media and stuff, so I can tell when I'm due a water change, because this evaporates down. I'll take the other side off for you as well. So this is a chamber K1. So if you look at this K1, see it's brown, you don't want it to be pure white. If it's pure white, it means the bacteria is not growing on it right. So this needs topping up. This is a big moving bed of K1. I think there is about 25 litre, big 25 litre bag. This is the first chamber, sorry, it's the second chamber. This has got floss in it. So the floss, a couple of pads down there, and then this is crushed oyster shell. So unfortunately where I live is very, very acidic. The water, the pH is about 4 or 5 that comes out of our tap. So crushed coral, this is probably about 5 to 6 kg of it. Maybe a little bit more, it's probably more like 10 kg of it in there. That holds the GH level in my water. So that keeps the GH in there, and then I use Malawi buffer, but in a slightly lower dose to keep the KH up, which then keeps my pH stable. So I run this tank, the pH is about 7, I would say about 7, between 7.2 and 7.4, try and keep it. Keeps the bacteria nice and healthy, which is what I want to go for. I was struggling with die-offs, and I could tell when my bacteria would die off because the K1 would go pure white. It's quite a scary time when you fish are quite a value to you, pet-wise and money-wise. You don't want your pH dropping off. That's the main thing you have to do with people in my shop, is talking through pH levels. I do water changes on this, ideally once a week. If I get a chance, sometimes it goes 2 weeks. I've been running treatment. It's been about 10 days now since I've done a water change. I do the glass on this tank probably once a month, once every 5 weeks, because I don't have the lights on during the day. So I only get biofilm. I very rarely get algae in this tank. I keep it bare bottom because it's easier to clean. The rays kick up all the sand when you do it, and what you find is if you have sand, they bank it to the back. So the first third of the glass, first third of the tank, if you get my words out, it's just bare glass anyway, because you just boot it up into a massive mound. So I keep my rays on bare bottom. It's easier for me. I can see health. Also, when they drop the actual stingers, I can get them out. That's one thing you've got to watch out with ray guys. So what they do is they'll shed the barbs. So the barbs in there will shed, and they're quite big. I've actually got some up here that I can show you. So these are Stingray barbs. Now if you look, I just need to stab myself in the hammer one actually. If you look at these, they're serrated. So these are some big weapons that they have to keep themselves safe in the wild. And in South America, when he's standing him, this is what they stick into him. So you've got to be really careful. So what they do is they shed them. And what happens is if you've got sand, they get stuck in the sand, and they can actually stab your rays. The Matoros haven't worked. One swam up the glass the other day, and he actually had a barb sticking out the side of his mouth, where it had stabbed him. So you have to be really careful with that, guys, especially when they're shedding the barbs. You can usually tell when they're about to shed. She's definitely gonna shed her barb soon because it's massive. See how long it is there? She's definitely gonna shed that one soon. Feeding wise, I mainly feed them on, so the Arowanas on insects, Florida Garlic, anything. So I mainly feed prawns because it keeps the water nice and clear. I'll do mussels a couple times a month usually, to try and get a little bit more of a varied diet with him. And then I'll do a lot of pellet food. When the females are going through breeding and the males, I'll up the feeding. So I've actually upped the feeding to 2 times a day. Again, sometimes it'll only be 1 if I do it, but I mainly try and get a lot of food down, and especially when she's developing pups inside. So twice a day I'll be trying to get these food. But yeah, this is the 1400 litre display tank in my front room. That's obviously cockeyed, which we don't want. I'm gonna have to sort that out in a minute. But yeah, guys, just thought I'd talk you through the fish that I've got in my front room. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I've got I'm gonna plan a few tours at people's houses, film me big monster tanks and fish rooms and stuff. I'm based in the northwest of England, so if you're near Manchester and you've got a big tank, reach out to me on Instagram, and I'll actually come around and film your tank. So I need to do a bit more with YouTube. Like I said, I've been slacking the last couple of weeks because I've been doing the plants in the garden, but I'll do some more. So I'll film the Thailand shipment that comes in. I think it's just a load of barbs and stuff this week. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed that one, guys. Cheers for watching Manchester Fins. If you're enjoying these videos, just hit that subscribe, give us a like on it, always helps the channel out. There's much more to come this year.